Let's talk money.
Hello and welcome to this special Women's Day edition of Let's Talk Money, brought to you by CNBC-TV18's Future Female Forward initiative. I'm your host, Surabhi Upadhyay. Let me start by wishing all of our lady viewers out there a very, very happy Women's Day. We hope that you take out some time to pat yourself on the back and celebrate your hard work and perseverance, whether you're a working professional, a homemaker, or an entrepreneur. Now, while we women work very hard for our careers and our families, we tend to put our own financial well-being way lower down that priority list. Why is that? Ladies, it's time to change this, and it's time to take charge of our financial wellness as well. And helping us do this today are Ashish, Shanker and Neha Pathak from Motilal Oswal Private Wealth. Lady and gentlemen, thank you both for joining in. It's a great conversation. I love to talk about, women and money at any time, but why not? Especially when Women's Day is just around the corner. So happy Women's Day to you, Neha.
Thank you, and wish you the same.
And can I wish you as well, Ashish, because without men participating, we cannot have a happy Women's Day, right?
I know. Happy Women's Day to both of you and all your women viewers. I mean, for me, every day is Women's Week, but this week obviously is special.
Yeah.
Because there's a focus on women.
So let me ask you, before we get started with the whole show conversation, you both are professionals in the financial world, and you see a lot up close. Neha, of course, has expertise in legal matters and law. What has changed, if I ask you, say, in the last 5 years or 6, 7 years, when it comes to women and their whole approach towards money? Ashish, what has changed?
So I think three things. I think there are more women in the workforce, especially professionals. And you see many successful women at the helm of a lot of companies, right? So there is more money in the hands of women. And I also see women far more confident about money than probably, in the early growing up years. It's an irony, though, because, women are known to manage household finances. And my first tryst with money was with my grandmom. I mean, she used to lend me money, right, and charge interest on it.
Oh, really?
So,
she did?
Absolutely. So that's when I first learned how compounding works, because I tried to pay her back with simple interest. She said, no, simple interest doesn't work for me. You have to compound it.
So you learned the power of compounding way early.
Absolutely, from my grandmom. So it's an irony. I mean, women are extremely good at household finances, but I think as more and more women are coming into the workforce, and I also see women who are homemakers now getting involved in family investments. So it's for the good. It's for the good. More women participating will give us more perspectives as well over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do for the purpose of this 20-minute conversation is break this down, and we thought it's best to do this by bucketing all of us women in 3 categories, and typically we will fall in one of these 3. So either you are single and earning, or you're married and you're earning, or you're not earning. Maybe you're a homemaker, maybe you've retired, maybe you've taken a career break. So basically you're a woman, but you're not earning. All 3 categories, and women in these categories need to be very aware of their finances, and we'll get to that step by step. But before we kick off, and if you talk about the first category, actually, Neha, what is the general advice that you'd give to women out there when it comes to money, finance, and coming to these uncomfortable conversations that money conversations usually are?
See, money is something that you need. How much ever we say that money is materialistic, we all need the money. At the end of the day, we need to learn how to save it, how to put it at the right place. And for that, according to me, you need that knowledge. You need to have that understanding on how to save the money, where to save the money. Like, I have friends who are not working or are single. They are putting their money in gold. They are putting their money in fixed deposit. They are putting in their money in securities. But somebody has to guide them. There's always an uncle or a father or a brother helping them out. Wouldn't it be better if they can do it all by themselves, or a part at least? So have that understanding, have that knowledge to go ahead and make that investment.
Yeah.
So yes, money is important. Learning is too.
Absolutely, and we can only ask the right questions if we're a little informed. Otherwise, you simply have to follow anyone's advice. I mean, more or less blind. Let's get started with the first category, Ashish. Women who are single. Now, they could be early in their careers or even mid-career. I mean, these days, women end up getting married or choose to get married a little late many a times. Right. So for this category of single earning women, what are the first steps? What are the important do's and don'ts?
Right. So just building on what Neha mentioned, it's important that women spend more time understanding money, especially power of compounding, because you have so many options in front of you. You have a simple fixed deposit, right, where the risk is extremely low, but you get a fixed guaranteed return. And then you have equities on the other side, where the ride can be very volatile, but you end up compounding your money faster. So it's important for women to spend some time and understand the character of different asset classes, so that then they can figure out themselves as to how to invest their money. Of course, I can't forget gold when it comes to women, and gold has done extremely well. So how do you create a portfolio is something that they need to spend a little more time. But other than investing, I think there are a lot of other things that you need to take care of, primarily insurance, right? And typically what I've seen is, whether it's single working women or married, women increasingly are the ones who are taking care of their parents. So it's not just insurance for self, but even insurance for parents,
your parents,
right? So whether it's medical, whether it is life insurance. So I think these two aspects are extremely critical. And then like any other person, you create a budget for your aspirations and do goal-based investing.
Yeah.
Because you'll have different milestones in your career, so you'll need to plan if you need to buy a house. I mean, for a single working woman, I think buying a house is extremely important. It gives you a lot of security, right? So how do you create a corpus for the down payment, right? And then you need to budget for the EMIs.
Since you brought up the house, I have to ask you this. It's a question that I think a lot of people are completely confounded by, both men and women. When it's about that house that you want to buy, are you in the camp that believes that just buy it early if you know that you're going to be in the city for a while, then just buy it, take that EMI loan because you'll be staying in it and keep paying it off? Or are you in the camp that would plan for it, build a corpus over 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then look at making that big move on a house?
See, here it's very individual, to be honest. Now, on an Excel sheet, you could make a plan saying that, look, I'll compound my money in equities by putting it in SIP and buy the house later.
Yeah.
But, an SIP doesn't, or a portfolio doesn't give you as much comfort as your own house. So I would say that go ahead and buy that house, even if you stretch a little bit, because over time, remember, the EMIs will remain the same, but if you're successful in your career, right, your salaries will keep going up. So you'll be able to save later on, and real estate is also a kind of saving. Although all of us are biased towards equities, but real estate has also done reasonably well. So I would say that go ahead, because real estate also gives you certain tax breaks, and it gives you security. So if you are clear that you want to stay in a particular city, go ahead and buy that house as early as possible, I would say.
Okay, all right. We have some questions coming in from our viewers, so let's try and answer them as well. I think we have Karvi Agrawal, who's now joining us on the show. Karvi, thank you for being with us on Let's Talk Money, and a very happy Women's Day to you. Please tell us, how can we help you? And tell us a little bit about yourself, whether it's your own money you manage or whether you get someone else to do it for you.
Hi, Surabhi. Thank you so much for having me. We built our own in-house team, and I manage our family money. My question is, given the market volatility, how do long-term portfolios with 100% equity manage risk? Should investors lean towards more niche absolute return strategies at this point in their portfolio?
Okay, Karvi is a smart young woman. She is managing, a bulk of the family money as well. Karvi, thank you for that question. I think it's a question a lot of people would wonder, right? Especially who are full on in equities and now they've seen the market going completely topsy-turvy. So how does one navigate this?
So I think the first thing is to have a plan, right? Especially if you're managing a family office or family money. Create a plan. Now, the plan could be as follows. How should the asset allocation look? And that is determined by what is your expectation in terms of returns. So let's assume that someone decides to have an aggressive portfolio, let's say 70% equity and 30% non-equity. Now, you will see ups and downs during the course of your investing journey. Having an asset allocation plan helps you rebalance the portfolio. So today, I would presume that portfolios on an average are down 25 to 30%, so that 70% may have come down to 55, 60. And this may be a good time to start rebalancing the portfolio more towards equity.
Okay. All right, speaking of asset allocation, there's one more query that's come in, and I think the lady here has a query on gold. So let me quickly get to this. Vidhi Lamba, she is with us on the show right now. Vidhi, thank you so much for joining in. Tell us what's your question, and also, is it, I mean, for your money on your behalf, or is it a family decision that you're looking at?
So I do manage my own money, my family's investments. And my question to you today is that since I'm a private jeweler, I do have my investment in gold is organic. Should gold be a part of my family asset allocation? And if not, what else can I look at?
Okay, that's an interesting question. For a jeweler or a jeweler family, you anyway perhaps have a lot of exposure towards gold. So what would you advise in this specific case? Does she still need to allocate separately to gold?
Very interesting question. So let me give you a parallel and answer this question. See, ideally, we would like every portfolio to have some gold because it's like an insurance and gold is done extremely well. Let me take a parallel. Let's assume somebody is in the real estate business, right? Should they invest in real estate as an investment, right? So the questions are very similar.
Yeah.
My answer is, if your business is of jewelry and gold, then ideally you should not have gold in the portfolio because you already have a lot of exposure to gold through your business. Correct. And you're exposed to the vagaries of that asset class.
Absolutely.
Similarly, a lot of people who are real estate developers, they do not have real estate exposure outside of their business.
Because anyway, the business is fully exposed.
Absolutely.
To
So
that
that's the
asset
only
class.
way you can create a bucket which is different to what your business is. Because see, remember, the objective of portfolio is not just to earn returns.
Right.
Objective of portfolio is also to ensure some amount of diversification.
Absolutely. Before we take a break, very quickly, Ashish, you brought up insurance in between. A lot of single women tend to not think about term insurance because you're single, you're still young, and you don't have dependents, perhaps at that point in time in life. But should they still think about term insurance, and why?
They should, because see, your premiums are significantly lower when you're young. Okay, as you age, your premiums tend to go up.
Yeah.
And then there are multiple riders also that you can add. So it's not just about life insurance, but it's also riders in terms of critical illness, so on and so forth. And remember, in a lot of, I've seen in a lot of single working women's cases, their families may be dependent on them. So, right. So in case something does happen, then, you know, that acts as a pot for the family. The other thing is an interesting way to look at term insurance is when you're younger, you keep adding, you know, different policies, right?
Yeah.
So you look at it as an option. You're paying a premium. Over the years, as your corpus keeps building up, you can stop paying premium gradually.
Okay.
So you reduce the cover. A lot of people don't think of it that way.
Okay.
The only way you can think about it is you think of insurance premium as an expense,
Sure.
not as an investment. Many people invest in insurance thinking I'll get
Something back,
something back. So if you can orient yourself not to look at it like that, like buy, let's say, 5 term insurance policies as your incomes keep going up, and as your corpus keeps building up, you stop one of them, then you stop 2 of them.
Okay.
And that's a very interesting way of looking at it. But your premiums are significantly lower when you're younger.
Sure. Got it.
That's one of the main reasons why you should start young.
Okay, all right, got that. We have to take a quick break, and when we come back, then we talk about women who are married, and then they could be earning or not earning, and that's when it starts getting complicated. We'll have Neha help us out in how they can manage their money.
Let's talk money